On a cold December morning in 1917, a single ship exploded in a Canadian harbor with a force greater than any human-made blast the world had yet seen. In an instant, a whole district of Halifax was flattened. Nearly 2,000 people died, thousands more were injured, and a wave swept across the waterfront. These are the photographs of the day the sky fell. It was the height of the First World War, and the port of Halifax, Nova Scotia, was one of the busiest on the Atlantic. Convoys gathered here before crossing the ocean to Europe. Ships packed with troops, supplies, and the terrible cargo of modern war passed through its narrow harbor day and night. One of those ships was the Mont-Blanc, a French freighter loaded almost entirely with high explosives, bound for the battlefields of France. Her holds were packed with tons of TNT, picric acid, and gun cotton, and barrels of fuel were stacked on her deck. She was, in effect, a floating bomb. That morning, the Mont-Blanc and another ship, the IMO, met in the narrowest part of the harbor. A series of misunderstood signals and failed maneuvers brought them directly into each other's path. The IMO's bow tore into the Mont-Blanc, and sparks set the fuel on her deck ablaze. The crew of the Mont-Blanc knew exactly what was in her hold. They rowed for their lives, shouting warnings no one could understand, as their burning ship drifted toward the docks. On shore, people stopped to watch the strange spectacle. Children pressed their faces to windows. No one knew they were staring at a fuse. At 9:04, the Mont-Blanc detonated. The blast was the largest human-made explosion the world had ever seen, hurling a column of smoke high into the sky. A square mile of the city was leveled in an instant. The ship was torn apart, and a piece of her anchor landed more than 2 miles away. The shockwave shattered windows for miles, and flying glass blinded hundreds of people who had been watching from inside their homes. A wave, thrown up by the explosion, surged over the waterfront. Nearly 2,000 people were killed, and thousands more were wounded. Whole families vanished in a single moment. In the final minutes, one man became a legend. Vince Coleman, a railway dispatcher, knew trains were still approaching the doomed waterfront. He could have run. Instead, he stayed at his post and sent a last warning down the line. Incoming trains were stopped. Coleman died at his desk, but his message helped prevent an even greater disaster. As survivors dug through the ruins, a blizzard descended on the shattered city, burying the wreckage in snow. Help poured in from across the region, and famously from Boston, whose swift aid Halifax never forgot. Halifax first sent Boston a Christmas tree in 1918. Since 1971, that gift of thanks has become an annual tradition. For a moment in 1917, a corner of the world learned what a single instant could do, a lesson the whole planet would learn again decades later. The Halifax Explosion remained the largest man-made blast in history until the dawn of the nuclear age. For more moments that shaped our world, follow the History Archives.